Hello kiddies, your Uncle Spurt here, and today we're having a good hard squint at Motorola's Edge 60 Fusion. You got that same smashing slender design as always, plus a handful of upgrades to improve the overall experience, and best of all, it's just 300 quid. Which is an absolute bargain. I've had my sim secreted inside of here for the best part of a week, so here's my Motorola Edge 60 Fusion review, and for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do subscribe and do that notifications bell. Cheers! Now first up, as always, the Edge 60 Fusion comes packed in a box which is heavily perfumed, which seems to have become Motorola's thing these past couple of years, and certainly for the first day or so, that scent heavily lingers on this phone. Basically smells like the inside of an Essex brothel. Thankfully it does fade after that, but some people will like it. My daughter couldn't stop sniffing this thing. And of course the phone itself is the usual delightfully skinny wee bugger. It actually appears to be even more slender than it actually is, courtesy of the curvy finish, which you've got here on the screen, just slopes away at those edges and also around back, to the point where that middle frame is pretty much non-existent. The Fusion phones are always absolute stunners. At this sort of budget price point, you'll struggle to find a better looking blower. As always, that display pretty much filling the front end of the Fusion, bugger all bezels surrounding it. And the frame of the phone, what little of it there actually is unfortunately just made of plastic. And while it looks shiny, it does a pretty good job of masking fingerprints and grimy grubbiness. And around back, you've got yourself a bit of vegan leather action. So-called because if you lick it, it tastes about as good as vegan food. And again, gotta love the design work here. Not only does that vegan leather feel fantastic, it adds a nice bit of grip, so perfect if you are trying to fumble about using this phone one-handed. Also great if you're sticking this phone down on a table on a train or something that's moving about all over the place because it doesn't slip and slide. And I also adore the way that the camera bump blends almost seamlessly in with the back end of the phone. Just a slight ridge there, as you can see. It doesn't stick too far at the back end. And I do love the colour that Motorola's gone with here as well. This is the Pantone Amazonite version. Probably absolutely mullered that pronunciation. Otherwise, you can also grab the Motorola Edge 60 Fusion in Pantone Slipstream here in the UK. And I'll be honest, I looked that up a couple of days ago, but my whiskey-addled brain has already completely forgotten what kind of colour that is. Now there's no pre-installed screen protector slapped onto the Edge 60 Fusion, but you do get a Gorilla Glass 7i display. And touch wood, that panel seems to be pretty hardy. This phone has taken a couple of tumbles this past week, and so far no scuffs, no scratches on there. And apparently this phone has passed a whole bunch of military standard 810H tests to prove that it's a proper hard case. It can survive tumbles of just over a meter, it can withstand extreme temperatures, crazy climates, ridiculous altitudes. I can't really personally vouch for most of this though, because the craziest place I've taken this thing is my local Greggs. And as usual, of course, full IP68 water and dust resistant, so it can be fully submerged in the drink. And it's also apparently now IP69 rated, so it can survive a severe spurting. Anyway, if you actually want to use the Motorola Edge 60 Fusion, well, you've got an in-display optical fingerprint sensor. This has been doing its job absolutely fine these past few days. Like most optical sensors, it does struggle if your hands are a bit grubby, a bit sticky, whatever, but otherwise, as you can see, they're reasonably responsive, fast to act. And of course, Motorola usually goes with a fairly stock vibe for the Android experience, but it is slowly turning into a more motorized version these days. So for instance, here in the apps tray, you'll notice very different from the standard stock Android effort. You've now got a news feed in there, so you can read about all the happy, jolly things happening in the world, mostly involving a man who looks like he's been excessively tangoed. You've got your current and trending news and also any other bits that you say that you're interested in. I do wonder if Motorola is setting this up as a sort of replacement to the Google Discover feed. You've also got your journal section stuffed in here as well, which I'll come on to later. Thankfully, very little crapware stuffed on the Edge 60 Fusion, so basically Facebook, which you can get right rid of, and LinkedIn, of course, and that's pretty much your lot. And then of course you've got that Moto app, which acts as a hub to some of the best features that Motorola has chucked on here. Plenty of personalization, which is always good to see. Very easy to switch up the fonts, the icon shapes, even the fingerprint animation, although it would be good to have a few more options, gotta be said. And it is slightly annoying how the Motorola Edge 60 Fusion doesn't have an always on display. What you've got instead is the sleep display, which you can wake up with a tap or by picking up the phone. There's no option to have that always on. And gotta say, personally not a fan of the live lock screen as well, which again ties directly into the latest headlines on whatever you're interested in. So it's pretty much guaranteed if I'm in a mad rush to unlock my smartphone to, get a ticket out or check something, I'll accidentally end up tapping into this bloody Discover thing and then spend ages trying to get the hell out of it again. No worries though, you can completely disable that quickly and easily. Of course, Motorola's chucked the usual excellent selection of gestures on here. And yes, that does include the karate torch chop. And of course, Android 15 already pretty hot when it comes to privacy and security features, but Motorola's chucked a few extra bonus bits on here. The likes of the pin pad scramble definitely worth jumping on board with if you do find yourself using your pin out and about in public. And there's some other good stuff like the gaming mode, which I'll mention later. And unless you've been dead these last couple of years, you may have noticed that smartphone manufacturers are going pretty heavy on the AI stuff. And Motorola, no exception, of course. The Edge 60 Fusion has a suite of AI shenanigans. Now, of course, yes, you do have all the standard Android AI stuff slapped on here. Give it a circle to search, for instance. And you do have Gemini on here, but on top of this, you've also got Motorola's AI assistant, which you can rouse from its slumber by long pressing the power button, or you can also double press the power button. It's fully customizable. And you can also access it via the apps tray. Now you can ask or search for absolutely anything you like. Why is Sunderland Football Club suddenly pants? Don't expect the answers to be quite as good as what you'd get on something like Gemini, unfortunately. You're best off sticking to, what's the weather going to be like later. I was hoping that the Moto AI would be able to summarize a web page for me, but unfortunately it can't do this directly. You've got to copy and paste the article text into the chat box, which then does work, but it's a bit clunky. One of the better options is Remember This, which is kind of similar to the Essentials space, which nothing introduced with the Phone 3A series. So what happens is you stumble across a web page or some information that you want to save for later. Just say Remember This, take a screenshot, and then it does ask you to just add a little bit of information. So tickets for 2,000 trees, and then it'll generally just take a few seconds for that to be processed. And it can extract a bit of information from the actual screen grab or whatever itself. And then everything you save appears in the journal section of the feed. And it's quite handy if you've got any QR codes you need to save, anything like that. Search the journal for the price of those 2,000 trees tickets. It'll take a wee while, but eventually, boom, there we go. You've also got the Update Me feature, which can briefly summarize any unread group chats and other messages you've got sat there waiting for you, which is quite handy if you are on a lot of group chats. You don't have time to quickly flick through all of them, see if you've missed anything urgent. It can also provide summaries of any missed calls or other bits, but it can't summarize any emails that you've got sat there waiting for you, which is kind of a shame. So sort of limited use, that one. And of course, all these features, they're all fairly fresh, so they are still a little bit bulky. They definitely need some tweaking, some refining, but give them a bit of time, they could be well worth using, and certainly shown a lot more encouraging signs early on compared with Apple Intelligence. Although admittedly, that's kind of like saying a dog is better at algebra than a house brick. Oh yeah, and Motorola is offering 3 years of OS updates and 4 years of security patching with the Edge 60 Fusion. Of course, I wouldn't expect the most timely updates here, and some rivals like Samsung do offer bonus years of support on top of that, but still respectable. It's great to see that Motorola has shoved 256 gigs of storage into the Edge 60 Fusion, which is double what you get with the standard iPhone 16, for instance, which costs considerably more. And on top of that, you've also got a bit of micro SD memory card support, so you can expand it. And in further good news, the Edge 60 Fusion also supports eSIM, which is great news if you do a lot of traveling or whatever. Just get one of those set up for your destination. And the good times just keep on rolling. When it comes to the display tech, you've got a 6.67-inch POLED panel here, and it's an absolute cracker at this price point. It certainly seems to be even bigger, even more spacious than it actually is, courtesy of the supremely skinny bezels. You've got a 2712 by 1220 pixel resolution, so slightly sharper than the previous generation. Slap it into the vivid mode in the display settings and those colours are proper poppy. That's certainly my favourite of the options. Currently no HDR streaming support in apps like Netflix, but I had absolutely no quibbles when it came to the contrast. While this screen is also comfortably bright enough to clearly see outdoors. Even if you're wearing shades, you can see what is going on, you can read messages, etc. If you jump on into the display settings, you will see there is a flicker prevention option, although this is turned off by default. You will have to switch that on if you want to use it. Got a bit of nightlight shenanigans, make things a bit easier on the old peepers in low light, and the refresh rate maxes out at 120 Hz, as you can see there. Just manually stick it on either 60 or 120. And of course, one of the concerns when you've got a smartphone with a curved display like this is the screen responsiveness. Sometimes if you're clutching it tight, it can bulk up the responsiveness. So you can be tapping on the display and it just won't register or whatever. Touch wood, doesn't seem to happen very often at all here on the Edge 60 Fusion. A couple of times it's gone a bit wonky, but generally very well behaved. And the Edge 60 Fusion also sports a stereo speaker setup, which is pretty loud, although not quite properly balanced. That earpiece speaker is noticeably tinier and weaker than the bottom-mounted speaker. But absolutely fine if you just slap on a bit of YouTube in the kitchen or something like that. You got full Dolby Atmos support on here as well. No headphone jack, sadly, which is something that you used to get on a lot of Motorola budgety smartphones, but hey ho, the Bluetooth streaming absolutely fine, no glitch in there or anything. Now, performance is provided by MediaTek's Dimensity 7300 chipset, and that's backed here on the Edge 60 Fusion by just 8 gigs of RAM. And I have seen a fair few glitches and quirks, shall we say, in my week with the Edge 60 Fusion, although quite a lot of these I do put down to the software rather than the hardware. One of the most common quirks I've experienced on here is if I'm streaming something in Netflix, I just quickly yank down the notifications panel. When I go back, the picture will have completely frozen while the audio continues to play in the background. Quite often I have to skip back 10 seconds in order to unbollocks it and get it all playing normally again. But, you know, wee bits of balkiness aside, actually skimming through the UI and everything is reasonably smooth. No real troubles there. Apps load up pretty quickly. You can multitask quite happily. And when it comes to gaming, well, you've got Motorola's usual gaming mode slapped on here, which is pretty simple compared with some rivals that you get from the likes of OnePlus and Xiaomi smartphones. It's got a couple of useful tools slapped in there. And I did find that when I was playing more intensive titles like Wuthering Waves, for instance, this ran absolutely fine on the lower graphic settings until things got proper mental. I'm talking like a dozen, 2 dozen rather angry beasties all trying to murder me simultaneously. It's only marginally worse than that time that I went on holiday in Middlesbrough. But during quieter moments, you certainly experience a much more stable frame rate. It generally held up fine. The game was perfectly playable. But I would say if you are a hardcore gamer, you might want to up your budget a bit and try and find something a bit more capable. One thing's for sure, that Dimensity chipset, nice and energy efficient, and Motorola has stuffed a 5200 mAh capacity battery inside of that slender frame. That's a slight upgrade over the previous generation, and I found that the battery life was absolutely sublime on the Edge 60 Fusion. Most days I found with even around sort of 6 to 7 hours of screen on time, plenty of video streaming, a good bit of audio streaming in the background, plenty of camera action, all that good stuff. I typically ended a long day with around 30% battery life still in the tank. The only way I ever managed to get this thing in battery saver mode in a single day was if I did a lot of video chatting or a lot of video recording, or of course played something like Wuthering Waves for well over an hour. And on the flip side, if you're a bit more chill with it, it will happily last you a full weekend. Now, same as the previous generation, if you do need to top it up in a jiffy, well, no worries. You've got 68 watt wired charging support here, so bung a cable in it, you'll see that battery meter fly up. Though there is sod all support for wireless charging, which is a bit of a shame, although not entirely unexpected given the £300 asking price. So last up for this lovely bit of Motorola Edge 60 Fusion review action, let's have a squint at the old optics. You can quick load the camera with a double push of that power button. And certainly from the specs, it appears like Motorola hasn't tinkered with the camera tech at all from the previous generation, but you do actually have different sensors in there. So it's a 50 megapixel primary shooter using Sony's IMX896. And then the only alternative lens is a 13 megapixel ultra wide angle shooter using a Galaxy Core sensor. I have found that the camera app can be tediously slow at times. Not right now, of course. Now it's going to be absolutely perfectly behaved. But of course, you can guarantee the very second your kid or your cat does something really cute and you just quickly swap in between the different camera modes or camera sensors, it'll suddenly decide to take its sweet time. You've got the usual variety of modes and everything stuck on here. So you've got the obligatory portrait mode, you do have a pro mode where you can mess around with the likes of the white balance, the ISO levels, etc. And you can shoot in RAW format. And the likes of ultra res as well if you want to shoot in the full 50 megapixels. As in the regular photo mode, you are shooting 12 megapixel images by default. You've also got the choice of snapping natural looking images, otherwise turning on auto enhance, which is particularly handy for those high contrast situations. Enhanced mode does brighten up a pic, similar to what you'll get with iPhones and Samsungs. It can work pretty well for scenery shots and the like. In natural mode, the Edge 60 Fusion captures quite realistic tones, and even when the lighting is a bit cack, you shouldn't see too much noise infiltrating your photos. In fact, some of my HDR snaps came out much better than expected, while night shots again look pretty decent for a budget blower. And some of the portrait shots spaffed out by the Fusion are especially gorgeous. Natural skin tones and no overly enthusiastic edge smoothing, cracking stuff. And of course there's no optical zoom on offer here, but you can still digitally zoom a respectable amount before the detail levels become a bit murky. And that ultra-wide shooter is pretty good compared with many budget rivals. Again, dealing quite well with dodgy contrast and not mucking up those colours too bad. Now, no real surprises when it comes to the video action. You can record up to 4K resolution footage at 30 frames per second. If you want 60 frames per second, you'll have to knock the resolution down to full HD. Now, video output isn't quite as impressive as the photos coughed up by the Edge 60 Fusion. You can expect more noisy results and duller tones in lower light and with strong contrast. But still, stabilization is perfectly decent, so you can move around while you shoot. And the focus is reliable enough to stay trained on your subject, while audio capture is pretty clean as long as there's no unexpected gusts or anything. And then finally, for the camera shenanigans, you've got a 32 megapixel selfie shooter up front. And using that front-facing selfie cam, you can shoot up to 4K Ultra HD resolution video at 30 frames per second, no 60 frames per second option, but stabilization is pretty good. You can wander about and talk and shoot at the same time, no worries. And those mics do a pretty good job of picking up your voice. Not the loudest, not the cleanest, but not bad at all. And there you have it, my lovelies. That in a moist and delicious nutshell is what I reckon of Motorola's Edge 60 Fusion. Frankly, bit of a bargain at 300 quid. I absolutely adore that gorgeous bright poppy POLED display. The battery life has been fantastic. The camera tech, pretty reliable. And then you got the added bonus of the fact you got 256 gigs of storage, which is expandable. You got the eSIM support, all these little features which Motorola didn't have to chuck in there, but I'm really glad that they did. Of course, it isn't quite perfect. You will find phones out there with better performance and has been a little bit quirky, a little bit buggy here and there. Motorola AI shows a lot of promise, but it is still very much early days there too. In fact, one of the rivals that I would recommend to the Edge 60 Fusion is the Nothing Phone 3A, which of course has all that sexy glyph light and shenanigans. Another great set of specs, and the likes of the Essential Space on there does a better job, frankly, right now than Remember This on the Motorola. But hey, that's what this bald northern knobber reckons. It'd be great to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Please do poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech, and have yourselves a ruddy, wonderful rest of the week. Cheers everyone, love you!